What would you do to survive? What would you do to avoid serious torture, almost endless at times? Would you hurt another individual? Would you kill? The story of E.Phaun explains just that. My name is Takedownman, and this is Confessions of a Serial Killer, Season 2, E.Phaun. I am so happy to be accepted to this forum. I feel that this will help relieve my soul of all that has happened as it keeps me up at night. I will let you know in honesty, I never wanted any of this. I did not wish to be seen as a bad person. I am not a bad person, but a person who has done bad things. I will now continue with my life. When we left off, I was 6 years old. We will now continue on to where I am at age 11. At this age is when the man started to have me do bad things to others. The first time I was brought to a room I have never been to before. There were 10 men in the room. I was still dressed like a doll, as I had been since the first day. The men all looked at me and nodded their heads. I was very afraid. Since they were friends of the man, I can only imagine what they would do to me. Today is a different day though. Today was the first day blood would actually be on my hands. I was instructed to open the door. There was a girl about the age of 9 years old inside. She was a girl I had never seen before. The man instructed me to take her to a bed, so I did as I was told, too afraid not to do what I was told. He made me take her clothing off and place her on a bed. I did so, and then was instructed to put her hands and feet inside of ropes. Afterwards, I was instructed to step back. As I did, the men all walked around her, touching her. They called her a Judish Machin and said that this was her people's fault, that this was happening to her. She was crying, asking for her mother. The more she cried, the happier the man in the room seemed to get. I was instructed to take a long piece of wood and smack her legs. I did as I was told, but it was not hard enough, and the man yelled at me. He said, if you do not hit her with all of your might, you will go back to the ropes. So I looked at the girl and said, I am sorry. I started hitting her, and her screams were something that still haunts me to this day. Every time I would hit her, she would get cuts on her body. Blood was running down her legs. Then the man said, now hit her stomach. I felt sick, but did as I was told. She kept screaming. It was horrible. I could feel myself getting angry, and as I was getting angry, it just a rage inside of me stirred, but not at all for her. I was mad for what I was having to do. Something I had to do to a girl who was not an enemy or a friend. She was a stranger, someone I had never seen before. Why? Why was she bad for this to happen? I do not know why, but I started hitting her harder and harder. I don't know why, even now that I look, I cannot figure out why I took all of my anger out on her. I felt like a horrible person. The man then told me to hit her in the face. I hit her in the face over and over again, both open and closed hand. Then he said to pull her hair. I did as I was told. I remember a clump of hair coming out of her head on my hands. I wish at this point someone would have just killed me. I say this because what happens next? He told me to grab a hammer on the table. I grabbed the hammer, and he said, hit her on the legs. I did it, and I did it hard. You could hear the awful sound of it hitting her bone and a crunchy sound around the knee. I was exhausted. I was slowing down, and the man said, "Come over here." I walked over to the man, and he asked, "Do you want to end her pain?" I said, "Yes, please." He said, "Then turn this until I say stop, and it will all be done." It was a crank connected to ropes. I remember how bad it made me feel, but I turned it. And as I turned the crank, the girl's screams got louder once again. That was until both her arms and one leg came apart. Blood was pushing out very fast. All I could do was stand there in disbelief in what had just happened. What I had just done to this girl. Was this real? Did I just do this? Her eyes opened and she was breathing still for a few seconds, but no screams, no words, nothing. If I would have known for a fact the man would have killed me, I would have gladly went in her place. But over the years, I had learned that no matter what bad things I did, the man would not kill me. He would just make me suffer. So these things I have done was because I was weak and afraid of the pain that never really goes away. Many nights awake, afraid, if the man will say I have done other things wrong and punish me. So this is not an excuse for the things I have done, which you will read in the future, but more of a reason as to why I have done the things I have done. I ask before you proceed to these things that I have written. I want you to ask yourself, is it worth your curiosity to know such things? These things I write is not to bring happiness, but maybe to give me peace and to show the world even men and women are everywhere who are evil, and that's why we should never trust our children to the care of others. I am writing this with the best of intentions. I hope you understand that, and I will post more as time allows me to. So as you can see, the story is getting worse, and I would heed the warnings toward the end, but that's just me personally. But then again, I have a word to mind, don't you think? So for all of you wondering what happened this time around, I went ahead and did it with my normal voice just to see what everybody thought, if you liked the accent better or if you like just my regular voice better reading the story. Unfortunately, I couldn't read it with my regular voice as it's written because it would just drive me nuts. So I kind of had to improv a little bit. But yeah, it's still the same story. So you guys let me know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And I will see you next Monday.